Hi, Kwonyin.
Hello, Sylvia.
Um,
Here we are.
yeah,
hmm
we have a pretty good topic we want to bring up today because it's something that rose naturally after last week's recording of how comfortable are you in being honest. And we would like to be more authentic and share with everyone. Um, there was a trigger that happened for me. I think it was, yeah, not I think, it was on a subconscious level. No, I think I was conscious of it for like a split second, but I
hmm
easily covered it up.
Yeah.
Um, and you were triggered by it. You were triggered by me, and I noticed it through
Yeah.
your expression. So if you guys want to go back and
Mhm.
like recognize it, you totally can. And after we pressed stop, I think it was us talking about even authenticity and honesty and truth, that something activated in us where um, it revealed more shadow between us. Like there was shadow between us. And we had another moment of being more authentic. But this time, being honest with this was a bit harder, right? To reveal to each other. But we did.
Yeah. Well,
Is there anything you want to add? Yeah.
well, we kind of had to start with layers, and it's funny that, we had just recorded something about honesty, and
Yeah.
then and after we stopped recording, the conversation continued about
Mm-hmm.
honesty.
Mm-hmm.
And and I found myself sharing with Sylvia just a trigger that came up with
Mm-hmm.
me
Yeah.
related to some kind of
You were just annoyed,
energy.
right?
I was annoyed.
Yeah, with me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
Um,
sensed that too, because um um I saw it through your expression, which activated my insecurity.
mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, something about you were
Um,
talking and
You actually
I felt
touched
that
my
the
insecure energy.
conversation was complete. A what?
You actually, in the recording last week, was aware of my insecure energy being activated, and that triggered you to be annoyed,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now that we look back
hmm
and think about it.
Yeah, it was about insecurity.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna get all quantum in a moment because, I'm getting triggered by your insecurity because it's also a mirror to some part of insecurity in me. But on the
hmm
surface, the trigger was, oh, feeling like you were continuously talking and not closing up the loop when it was already done
hmm
or something.
hmm
Yeah.
And she was
So that
calling
was
me
the
out on
surface.
it.
But then,
Yeah.
yeah, but then I brought it up and about how that felt for me to be waiting and,
Yeah.
the impatience on my part and some
Yeah.
annoyance.
Yeah. Annoyance. And
Yeah.
basically, Kuan Yin was a mirror and a reflection to me of that part I don't want to see ever again. Because there's a lot of fear in seeing that projection. And that's also something that I have within me. So Kuan Yin was just being a mirror to me of like how annoyed a part of me is at this other part of myself that feels insecure. And
Yeah.
it
Mhm.
was such a, yeah. So we kind of started talking about it. And when
Yeah.
Kuan
But
Yin
it's
called it
so,
out, yeah.
but even to get to the place to call it out, I think this it's not comfortable for me to outwardly express annoyance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing with when you, yeah, it's like these layers that just shed when
Mm-hmm.
you're
Mm-hmm. And
feeling comfortable and safe enough to talk about what's underneath the surface.
yeah, and you were really annoyed with me, right? And in that state of you being really annoyed with my insecurity,
Yeah.
um, I like I understand you because I was also the same way with you. Like, um, we had like for us to like have this good relationship with each other, like super healthy relationship to each other, and to be so annoyed with that friend who you have such a healthy relationship with,
Yeah.
it like it feels harder to bring up, right?
Yeah.
Because there's always
Right.
this fear of like, oh my God, like I don't want to be the one ruining it, or I don't know, just messing it up or whatnot.
Hmm.
So it's one
Yeah.
of
And you know
those.
what? Not telling you how I really feel
Mhm.
would, that
Ruin it.
pattern of ongoing just pretending I'm okay and not really bringing up things that I feel
Yeah,
would become the bigger shadow eventually that would cut off our connection.
yeah, it would have gone.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
just
saved us,
thank you
right?
to me and to you that I
Yeah,
could really share how I was really feeling and they were
yeah,
not pleasant things to
yeah,
feel moment.
yeah. And
But yeah, but
when,
there's so much now from that moment that I spoke that. Now for both of us, we've been having so much
yeah,
illumination on this
yeah, and
pattern of
big shit's
insecurity.
happening. Yeah, yeah,
And like, holy shit,
yeah,
feeling insecure and the way that we suppress it and
yeah.
bury it in ourselves is such a big prevalent undercurrent
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
you helped me see in myself.
Yeah. Oh, and
After
you
I
have,
got annoyed with you,
yeah,
then I was like, oh my God, I have that same part in me.
yeah, yeah. And it was really triggering because um Kwonyin had a difficult time witnessing the insecure part, and I had such a difficult time witnessing the annoyance part. So
The
it,
annoyance at the
yeah, it was the
insecurity part.
same degree, yeah, of
Yeah.
like, I don't want to see it, I don't want to see it. And when you were calling me out on how you were feeling, it just totally activated my insecure part. And it's that part that I knew I just never want to go there to see and witness and understand. And so when I felt
So
like,
disguised, so
uh-huh,
disciplined.
yeah, when and I really wish we recorded this, but it was so in the moment and it just so happened so gradually.
You know what? I think I did record the audio of it
Oh, how?
on my phone. Because I
Oh, no
remember we
way.
started going into it and I thought, oh, this is juicy.
I
So
don't
I did record
I don't mind you uploading it if
it.
yeah, because it was really good.
It was
Um,
so good.
yeah, it was very transformative and very deep and like I,
There was
but
so much that you saw in your dynamics. It was
yeah,
childhood dynamics with your mom.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
a deep inner child healing
yeah, of
with that.
insecurity. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we worked through it, the healing was so like that insecure part felt like, oh, if I allow people to see this energy of me, the insecure energy of me, oh, you're right. You like the part that you were annoyed with is like it already knew that. Like, yeah, I know you're gonna be annoyed with me. And that is why I don't want to show myself
Hmm.
because you're just gonna get annoyed. And then you kept saying, like, no, no, I'm not gonna get annoyed because you're being honest with me. And I said, no, I'll prove to you that you are wrong. It just couldn't believe that you didn't even want to walk away. It was crazy to this part. That was so insecure. And it's not that like we have worked through this. Well, I have worked through feeling more secure, but it was such a deep, I don't know, another deep layer of insecurity with this particular insecure energy. Um, and it felt like it already knew so much of itself, and you were just basically like validating it. So it just felt even more like real that this is who I am as an insecure person. I could never change. But what flipped was, and it was such a life-changing experience for that part that was in that insecure place was, oh, I don't, what did you say? Do you remember? I don't want to leave you. I support you. It was totally, I forgot what exact words you used, but the energy, I cannot forget. It was such a genuine support. And that just did it. It broke. That part had a breakthrough of what? What? You accept me just as I am? That was so mind blowing. But what did it was the genuine um, reaction on your part of really meaning it. Yeah. And I just felt so grateful to you because I knew in that moment it totally changed me. Um, and then after that integration, I was aware of all the little areas that I was able to recognize um, in the past couple of days leading up to this integration of where I was being insecure energetically and exuding that. And no one would have been able to detect it. Yeah. And now I was able to catch like, oh my God, I was insecure when I was doing this or in this moment. And yeah, it became more sharp in like picking and becoming aware of when I was. And then from after that integration, it's like, oh my God, the feeling of security felt so rewarding, so rewarding.
Wow.
And then we flipped and you went through the integration of your parts, secure and insecurity, and I did too. This deeper energy of secure and insecurity. And
Yeah.
we both came out like, whoa!
Big. That
It
was
was
a
mind
really
blowing.
transformative deep dive.
Yes. And we both agreed that that week after that integration, we just kept manifesting and attracting everybody we were helping, and they naturally just expose that energy we just went through. Yeah.
It's a very, that pattern, it's a very um, deep undercurrent,
Mm-hmm.
that dynamic we have between our insecure part, like the unsure of itself
Mm-hmm.
part, and then the other part that's judging it,
The secure part, which
the
is like
secure part.
that could be the, like you said, the bitchy part, the boss part, the demanding part.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
The
Yeah,
negative side of security.
yeah, yeah. Kind of the shadow aspects of the secure part that's just frustrated with the insecure part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so always, we have these kind of internal tensions with that, right? Which is why we end up eventually kind of wanting to hide the insecure part, because then we judge the part
Mm-hmm.
that's judging that part as wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting that your insecurity got exposed, and then I really felt into also my internal dynamic of
Mm-hmm.
the insecure versus the, I mean, I would say it was more of a very bully energy inside of me, like
Mm-hmm.
the bully and the insecure part.
Mm-hmm.
And and what I thought was interesting with um the way that I entered into this integration was um really seeing the letting my insecure part actually get angry at the bully.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was a catalyzing energy. It was just really letting that part express how frustrating it is to always be stopped by the bully, because it's never feeling like, from the bully's perspective, you're just not enough. Look at the
Mm-hmm.
dangers if you go out there and show yourself. No, no, stay down. You're embarrassing. That's embarrassing. It's not going to be okay with other people. You're going to get rejected. And letting that part, just really seeing the reality of listening to the bully and just living in a cave.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that was very cathartic to really have the insecure part stand up to the bully in this way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Like, let it get angry, let it get frustrated, say, do you see the hell you're making my life, the misery
yeah.
you're creating for me, and that I'm just not doing anything anymore, and I don't want to live like this anymore. And it was
Yeah.
just this big, also, wake up call to, with my conscious self, of how much this is playing out,
Yeah.
of not fully being myself, like not fully
Mm-hmm.
letting myself take up space in the world. And, that's just an edge I'm constantly working through with
Mm-hmm.
visibility
Yeah. Yeah.
and sharing my voice and my message. Even though I know it's so important and it's so profound, and just, even though I know in myself the changes and the transformation that have happened for me and other people, but still there's this part that won't let go of, it's like the bully that doesn't want to let go to have me really surrender
Yeah.
to accepting that, like, I have the full right and something important to share,
Yeah.
to be seen. I'm just, yeah, it's such a twisted thing in there with this dynamic.
I'm glad you brought that up.
And
Oh,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So what, yeah, I guess what came through from that was the importance of anger, to let the repressed part kind of be really fully heard and seen in their pain and their
Yeah.
anger.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then with the bully, it was so interesting to play out the kind of victim part, the insecure part, and to really let them let her play out her life just under the bully's dictatorship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
This is where like the
and you help me, like, go into
victimization.
the journey to go all the way of, like,
Yeah.
okay, so the bully's always right, you have to just follow orders, like hide, don't show yourself, and no, you can't live your desires and your dreams. And it was so fascinating that when I let myself go there all the way into that space, there was this big realization that came through, which was, oh, I now understand the bully.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
understand my oppressor. I understand why the bully's so afraid of me going out there and sharing myself, because I am exactly in the place of
Yeah.
having lost everything.
Yeah. And sorry, sorry that I'm like looking away. I don't mean to like, I'm still hearing you, but I so want to add on to what you're talking about because
Yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
had it written down because it goes so well with what you're talking about with the aha of
Uh-huh.
the bully. And I'm trying to find it. So I don't, I'm just letting you know.
I feel like I took notes somewhere too.
Yeah, it, it's in the beginning though, when you discover that like unhealthy part of the secure part that was treating the insecure part in that way, like it needed to just come out authentically, to feel safe, to just be their authentic self in the way they feel for the insecure part.
Mhm.
And that allowed the insecure part to speak truth to the secure part of like, yeah, but when you say and treat me that way, it makes me feel more insecure. Um,
Mhm.
and so
Right.
these two
Yeah.
parts never seeing each other, just always had the separation.
Mhm.
Yeah. Dang. Okay. Well, do you want have something else to say? Because I still want to find it, so I'm gonna keep looking to find it. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, um, well, the full circle moment with the bully was that the bully,
Uh-huh.
like the inner critic, is so hell bent on not ever re-experiencing pain again of
Yeah. Yeah.
rejection. So its number one focus is on protecting from pain, from ever experiencing pain.
Yeah.
And the
It is already
realization was, oh,
experiencing pain.
yeah, but what it didn't know was that it was still creating actually
Mhm.
pain
Yeah.
in trying to not in trying to guard yourself from pain and stay away from pain. It was still manifesting pain. It was just
Hmm.
in a hidden place
Yeah.
with the insecure part. It was creating more pain for its opposite,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. And so this is, I think, what we do when we make an enemy of pain. We think, oh, we just don't want to feel pain, so we're going to just try to pad ourselves away. But at the end, um, it created actually more pain. It created so much deprivation. It created stuckness.
Yeah.
It created a prison
Yeah.
inside the self,
They
and it
both
created
did.
more insecurity.
Yeah.
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 And so there was this beautiful moment between the two opposite parts where there was this coming together of, oh, okay, a new realization on a deeper level of pain is not the enemy, and we can embrace love and pain together.
Hmm.
And knowing that all this time is trying to prevent the insecure part from re-experiencing pain of going after its desires.
Hmm.
And the illumination was that going for your desires can be accompanied with pain. Like that can coexist together and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And can you be willing to experience the pain that comes with expansion and coming out of your shell and the fear of being seen? And with that, there is a discomfort and pain that comes with it.
Yeah.
And so,
When you said um it's okay to experience pain as you go towards what you want, right? Like it's okay to still go towards what you want and experience pain too at the same time. That space, um, I also want to add in like it is true because when the insecure part and the secure part were so separated because they were not seeing, hearing, and understanding each other, and the more they do that and the more years pass on, like the separation grows, right? So when the insecure part wants to now get on board with the secure part, that insecure part will say, okay, yes, I'll get on board with you, right? But then it's so used to living in that place for so long. And then to all of a sudden say, okay, I'm fine being insecure. I'm fine being secure now. It's like, it doesn't really work that way where, um, in some moments, yes, if the gaps between these separated parts are not so far apart from each other, you know, but then that insecure part, when it decides to be secure now, it's going to feel scared. It's going to sometimes feel unstable. And as you go more towards the secure, like, like the more secure you like accumulate for yourself, it does feel more scarier and scarier to the insecure part that just got on board. It takes time, it takes steps, it
Mhm.
takes building that normal reality for that insecure part to finally feel like I feel so secure and not be so afraid of it anymore.
Mhm.
So that's why sometimes the
Yeah.
pain and the like
Yeah.
going towards what you want, it can be still there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And ultimately, I think it's it's not about eradicating insecurity. It's that
Mm-hmm.
you are actually safe to feel insecure
Mm-hmm.
in an unknown situation or when you're, moving forward. But then you don't have this internal bully that's
Mm-hmm.
terrorizing you about it anymore,
Yeah.
or less so.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And I think
Yeah.
that's what's creating a secure connection.
Mm-hmm.
It's the security of that internal relationship that's creating security.
Mm-hmm. And like you
Not
said,
like you just have to cut off a part of yourself that's feeling insecure. Like,
yeah.
no, like that's insecurity is there for you, for the opposite part to like meet it where it's at
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
hold that space to be like it's okay for you to feel this way and we're going to
Mm-hmm.
work on this together and move
Mm-hmm.
forward together.
Mm-hmm. It's more like, yeah, like that union committed relationship where if a parent has a child and the child is, I don't know, like frustrating the parent, it's not like the parent's going to be like, ah, I'm done with you. Like, I don't want to work with you anymore.
Mhm.
And like just separate. Like
Yeah.
you go through the problems together, you resolve it, and then you move
Yeah.
forward together and
Uh-huh.
build a closer relationship and wanting to understand each other. Like it's that same
Yeah.
thing with your internal self. Like they
Right. And
become
it's knowing
family.
that it's a lifelong commitment
Yeah,
journey. You know,
yeah,
it's gonna, it's just ongoing.
yeah. I
Yeah.
couldn't find it. I couldn't find it. But
Oh.
it was explaining because I had an aha after this, and I totally forgot to share it with you too. I just remembered as you were talking about the bullying. I was like, oh my God, I remember having that aha. And it was
Mhm.
something along the like having the aha of how the bully became to be. Um, and I feel like we can and
Wait, what is it? The bully?
how the secure part became so unhealthy. The secure part of a person. Because like to feel so secure with yourself is a positive thing. But sometimes that security with the self can turn into like we found out, like the boss, the mean person, the bitch, or like in an unhealthy way, it projects itself in its secure place to the insecure part to like come off that way. And it's like that secure part became that way because um it was never really seen and heard, but also it was adopted from the outer reality of how they were treated by the outside reality. So it first originated by a child feeling insecure. And somehow that child felt insecure by the outside reality somehow. So let's say the parents.
Mhm.
The child felt insecure by the parents because the parents were in such a secure state. So, like, if a child is like, I don't know, I guess did something wrong and got in trouble, whatever, but in the secure state of the parent, could raise their voice or whatever and be just kind of me. And it's almost like if you are that tough in the secure place, it's almost it registers on a subconscious level like, oh, I can get what I want then. So like even the secure part in us, because if like for me, for example, I felt more insecure than secure growing up. So my dominant energy that I was exuding was the insecure energy. And what happened was my insecure part was so feeling insecure, and there was a part of me that so did not like that. Like, why are you so insecure and blah 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 blah. That part split away from me to say I'm gonna
Mhm.
want to be. I want to be secure. I want to be secure. But that part of me had no healthy reflection. That that part of me that wants to be secure didn't really. I wasn't really surrounded by people who helped me to be secure in a healthy way. It only knows security through whoever it's connected to, right? So I realized that secure part of me ended up bullying this insecure part of me because that's how I saw. Like, that's what I saw basically. Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
my parents in
Yeah.
their secure place was able to like say all this stuff to me. This is like my mom, like she's able to call me out and make me feel insecure in her secure state. And so my secure part of me, I was like, oh, if she can get what she wants out of my
Oh,
insecure
right.
part by being so secure in that way, oh, so I can do that to me too with my insecure part.
Yeah.
I'm
That
going to
is
be just like my mom.
exactly
Yeah.
how we do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
And it was,
mimic that behavior replicated into
yeah,
ourselves.
because it didn't see any other way but to experience that. It's like,
Mhm.
okay,
And you
if
see,
I
oh, it
really want,
works.
uh-huh. So that's how
She
I,
got me to obey, so I'm gonna make myself obey
uh-huh,
me.
me. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then meanwhile, secretly, there's just more insecurity brewing
Mm-hmm.
from our
Hmm.
isolated, bullied, insecure part
Yeah. So,
that has no way to have any power.
yeah. And it was recognizing like, oh, my insecure part is also so scared of my secure part.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
Ah.
know that it was only seeing the negative secure part of me
Mhm.
and afraid that that's all there is to my secure part and not recognizing
Mhm.
the positive part of the secure state. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just see that that's just also a microcosm of the world at large with on a larger scale with
Mm-hmm.
governments and power over,
Mm-hmm.
right? Exercising
Mm-hmm. So it's
again this
better
bullying
to
energy.
it's easier to get what you want with someone that feels insecure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
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 So it's time for all of our insecure parts to rise up
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and
And to be
express
supported by the secure part.
your dissatisfaction and be supported by
Yeah.
your opposite part.
Mm-hmm. And vice
Like
versa.
this is how we end the war
Yes.
and like end the suffering of the war that's created by this power dynamic,
Yeah.
the power over, the domination, the bullying of our between our internal parts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And interestingly, I think when we have this very subconscious thing going on, we're not aware of it. I think in the external world too, where there's just a lot of energy of also having a boss or someone outside of you who's bullying over you,
Mm-hmm.
where so if you have a very subconscious bully inside, there's more in order for the universe to get you to acknowledge that there may be more also this power dynamic existing outside of you that's very loud
Yeah. Yeah.
and unbearable.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So it's very good to recognize how this pattern is coming up within you and
Mm-hmm.
then work to
Mm-hmm.
create
And to,
a safe dynamic
yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And to really through this healing of secure and insecurity to come into union now, to be really committed with each other, um,
Mhm.
the most important thing ever for these two to stay together healthily and to grow healthily is the genuine support of each other. The genuine support. Because the insecure part that formed within ourselves,
Mhm.
we can catch that because those are the negative voices in ourselves that says, you can't do that, or you're not good enough, or all of those like things that stop you from going towards it because somewhere they say stuff that's not feeling good enough that you're able to do it. That's your insecure part of the self. That's the insecure part of the self. And in that insecure part of the self, um, it adopted it where the insecure part has no idea that whenever you have those thoughts, it was risen from like someone outside of you not supporting you towards what you want. So, like the insecure part of self in anybody, if you feel that within you, is just letting you know that you're separated from yourself. Insecure part is just means you're separated from yourself. The secure part of you is on your side supporting the self. It's closer to the self because it's saying, I feel secure in me. The insecure part says, I don't feel secure in me. So, how do you get that insecure part to support the self? Is the support of someone saying, like, no, like exactly like what turned for me when you helped me with my insecure part was that support. I was like, what? You're not walking away? You still there? That support flipped. So, I mean, that support was the one that made this part feel like if you support me, even though it's challenging, I want to go towards being secure. And then recognizing that I'm the one that is now creating the insecure part when I have the support. I have the support now, but if you don't have that support, it's harder to go towards like choosing yourself more. If you have an environment that you don't really feel like you have the support or you feel safe to keep choosing you, it's harder to get out of that insecure place. And then therefore continuously feel safe to choose you, to choose you, to choose you. Yeah.
So what would you say to someone who doesn't have the support externally to them right now?
If they don't have it externally to them, then start building it by finding that within yourself and to start start with yourself. See that within yourself, understand it within yourself, because now when you go out into the external, you get to see like, oh, this person is wanting to support me just the way that I know like how I want to be supported because now I know what that looks like now for me. And I see this person is kind of like supporting me in that way that I do for myself already. So then you're able to recognize it in the external. Like, okay, this person, yes, you can stay, but somebody else is not. It's like, oh, I could clearly see and know that this is not it because this is not how I support myself anymore. Like, that's not
Mm-hmm.
how I support myself. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, yeah, so it kind of you you build yourself into like manifesting that in the external eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, love it, love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah. And is there
Super
anything
powerful.
else? Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel like you want to share?
I don't think so from me. It's, yeah, this is a very powerful practice,
Yeah.
supporting your insecure self.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And just, yeah, providing that space of welcoming it, like acknowledging its feelings, how it is to be there. Um, yeah,
Mhm.
letting that part feel safe to keep emerging.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, just bringing a lot of kindness and attention
Hmm.
to it.
Hmm.
Yeah. And like really, really letting it know it's okay that you are this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so important.
Because there's a good reason why you are this way.
Hmm. And not to be shamed for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ending the shame. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. Well, this feels good.
And then that's the key to security, feeling secure.
Hmm. Feeling safer to continuously choose and wanting to choose the self.
Mhm. Right. Choosing yourself, choosing the things that truly align with what is needed and wanted from you. Mhm.
Okay. Thank you
Okay.
for another good conversation today,
Yeah.
Kwonyin.
Thank you too.
And until next time.
Till next time.
Hey, bye.